Yep. Good evening, everyone. So, last session we learned about some database commands. So, we discussed about how do we write the commands database. We learned creating database and creating tables and creating constants. These all topics we learned in database. So we created one database. We learned how to create table and how do we design table with different types of constants. So last session, all constants we learned. Last session, we discussed about the foreign key. Foreign key constraints also we discussed about that. How to use foreign key we learned. So this database we are going to use in a project. There, according to the project, we build the entire database system. So now today we are going to learn other commands, how to handle the other operations in database. So after creating tables and all, we need to learn inserting data into tables. So inserting data into tables, how we can insert and use. So previous when we learnt about tables, I just graphically added some data, but for inserting data into tables, we have a command. So SQL insert command is used to insert data into a database table. SQL insert command is used to insert data into a database table. Right. So it uses table name, field name, and values to insert into table. It uses table name, field name, and values to insert table. So syntactically it is simple. We have to just use the command insert into. We have to use insert into table name. Here into the table, field 1, field 2, and all the fields. Values, we have to use the word values. So value 1, value 2, like this we need to define. So the table name, field names, and values. And while inserting data into table, you have to follow all rules of constraints that you have mentioned. All rules of data types, all rules of constraints are important. What does it means? In particular database table, you have mentioned a field as not null. So make sure that you have supplied some value. Any field is defined as unique. Make sure that you are not using a value which is already used. That means while inserting, if you violate any constraint rules that you have mentioned while creating table, it will not insert. So you have to follow all the constraint rules, data types. So constant rules are very important to follow. Otherwise it cannot insert. So you have to follow all constraint rules defined to design data table. You have to follow all constraint rules defined to design table while inserting data. So you have to define exactly the same data type for value as defined in structure. You have to define exactly the same data type for value as defined in structure. So while inserting all these constraint rules we need to follow. That is only the important point here. So you can insert multiple also at a time, multiple records at a time. We'll see first. So what is the meaning of this and how it actually works? Right. So in this, we created some tables and we already have some data into it. You don't have any data, already data is there, right? Some data is there. Let me delete the data also. It is empty now. Okay. So we created a table and in this table, we don't have any data. As of now, for table viewing what is present inside them, we are just using select rows, right click and select rows. For that, we will learn command also now. And you see visually the data is empty here. We don't have any data. And you can see the data is empty. Nothing is there. We want to add some data into it. Then how do we add? So let's go to a new query. And what is the command? So we have to use the command insert. As I already told you, capitalization doesn't matter. So just to highlight, I'm giving insert into table name, but make sure that the table is being database is being used first. So what you have to do, use shopping. Okay. And it is working fine. Now it is being used. Now we can run the command insert into table name is TBL categories. And in the parenthesis, you have to mention the fields into which fields you want to insert. Remember, if fields are nullable, then you can ignore them. If fields are not nullable, then you have to mandatory define them. Already we know nullable, non-nullable means, so that means whenever you created a table, in that several fields may be set to null. And some fields are not null. So which fields you define not null, they are mandatory. Nullable fields you can ignore. There is no order also. Means in the database table in which order the data is present, it is not necessary to insert in the same order. Any field name and relative value. Here, while inserting, you can use any order. It will insert that into that particular field. So, what are the field names? One is what? Category ID. Another one is what? Category name. You see the columns. Already when I select the table, we have this category ID and category name. And into that, because it is primary key and integer, so it is mandatory that you must define some value into it because primary keys are not null, and make sure that they are unique. So here category name and category ID, and we have to define values. So here I am just using values. What are the values you want to insert? Depending on data type. If it is numeric, then directly you can type. If it is a string, then you have to put in a quote. So what is the category name? Some electronics I am defining like this. Like this we are adding the data. So if it is a number type, you can directly define. If it is a string type, you have to use the single quote. Strings are always defined in single quote. If it is date type, generally in JavaScript you learnt, usually in JavaScript based any technology, whenever you learnt about working with date and all, you know that date must be a string in which format? Year, month and day. Actually in any computing technology, in HTML also you learn. In HTML you learnt input type date. When you learnt input type date, how to restrict the dates from this date to this, minimum, maximum, all those you have to mention by using year, month and day. So anywhere in computing technologies, the date format is in the year, month, day. That is for developer. While showing, you can show in any format. Month, day, month, year, anything you can show. For storing, you have to follow this order, year, month, day. In another table, we will put other data also. Initially, this is completed. At a time, you are inserting how many records? You are inserting one record. And when I run this, it is going to execute. And here I execute the select one more time, then one record is there. At a time, if you want to add multiple records, just you need to do like this. So this is number 2, This is having like footwear. Now one more record, you just put a comma and add another set of values. You need to just separate with comma. And what is another one? 3 and fashion. So like this we are adding. You can add multiple records and all the value sets must be separated with what? Comma. At a time you can insert more than one. And when I run this, these are also inserted. When I select, those also added into the database. So we can insert multiple at a time and you have to follow the data types. So here numeric types are defined with the value, with the number as value. String types are defined with a single quote, and dates are defined with a single quote in year, month, day format. Year, month, day format. Already we learned there is no Boolean type. So Boolean is defined using tiny int. We use 0, 1 for Booleans. So there is no order dependency, but here you have to follow the order dependency. That means what is the first field? The value should be relative to that first field. But you can put field 2 first, field 1 later. There is no order for that. In the same order you have to pass here. And how do we add multiple? Here I will give a syntax. So just one example better, right? Insert into TBL categories, category ID, category name, so values, so electronics like this. So you can insert multiple records into table using a comma delimiter. Using a comma delimiter, that is the comma separator. You can insert multiple records into table using a comma delimiter. That is the comma separator. Right. So that is nothing but here we need insert into TBL categories, category ID and category name. values, some fashion, comma, footwear, like this. Accessories, and just end. Whenever that is the last one, just you have to end with semicolon. You can add multiple records at a time. So that is a simple option. So insert into table name, field names, and the values. So there is nothing else you need to know about insert here. That is the basic operation of inserting data into it. Only the point is all the constraints, all the rules of data types that you defined while creating table, you have to follow. Any mismatch is happening, that means you mentioned a unique key and you are sending some same values into different. Already you learned that. When I manually inserted also, it shows an error. It shows error. So this is, you need to follow. Okay. Next important, this is inserting. How we can insert data, creating and inserting. Next, querying data. Next important is querying data from tables. Querying data from query data from tables. How we can read and return data from table. Querying is nothing but, so query allows you to read and return the data from a database table. Query allows you to read and return data from a database table. And how do we do that? Actually, SQL provides a select command. SQL provides a select command. A select command for querying. SQL provides a select command for querying. So to query the data from tables, you need select. Actually, here select refers to field names. Select refers to field names and uses various operators to fetch data from table. Different operators allow to filter and sort the data. Different operators allow to filter and sort the data. So we'll see how we use different options there. Right. Actually, syntactically, select command uses field name from table name. It uses table and from command. Select field name from table name. Select a field name from table name. And you can use the meta character. You can use asterisk meta character to search and read all fields from table. You can use the meta character to search. Asterisk is used for to search for to search and read to search for all fields only. To search for all fields from table. Syntactically, it uses select star from table name. So you need to define the table name. The field names, or you define a query to read all the fields. So here, how to query the data, how we can access and use the data. Actually, to read already here it is there. Just I will show what we need to do. We need a select command, field name, category name from, and table name, TBL categories. So it is going to get only the category name from the categories table. It will get only that. You can get only what you are looking for. You can define this. You can mention the field names like this, comma, category ID from table. Then it will get the category name and category. This is just temporary reading and returning. This is not permanently changing that order in your table. It is just reading and showing. So here another option is, instead of doing this, we can use a meta character. So meta character, currently it is showing only one. The meta character is what? Asterisk. Asterisk select star from table. This is going to return, it is going to return all the fields, But what is this asterisk doing? See the definition what I given, what it is doing. It is used to search for all fields in a table. So in real-time projects, it is almost everywhere. It is recommended not to use this star. At high level interviews for experienced people, one question they ask, which is very common question. They ask like, I am using some database, millions of records are present. I need to get those records and use them in my application. You know, Google, suppose when you search, it shows millions of results. related to a topic. Then what is the question is, they say that because it has to fetch millions of records, it is taking some time. Because millions of records should come, it is taking some time. Then tell me some techniques that can make my fetching faster. That means they will ask you questions like that. They say that, tell me some techniques which I can implement so that my data fetching will be fast. It will not delay. And it is very popular question because it requires good knowledge on APIs, backend, and the database. You need to tell all the precautions to take, so which will make the querying fast, which you will learn one by one. You will learn. You have to implement different concepts. Actually, what we do, first thing, so many are there. The first point is we suggest them that never use stars in query. Don't use star in query. While learning, practicing, while temporarily viewing, everywhere you may be using it. But in real world projects, almost everywhere avoid using this. Don't use star. Because star is a search pattern. Search pattern means it is searching for fields and it is reading. It will take time. Searching will take time. If I give directly field name, then it will not search. It will directly go to the field and it will access. Then you people have a doubt like, sir, if 100 fields are there, what to do? If 100 fields are there, if 200 fields are there, what to do? What to do? Type them. If 100 are there, type 100. 500 are there, type 500. They give salary for you, na? Why they give salary for you? Not to find shortcuts and escape work, right? That means they will simply say that, then why you are here? You will say that it is 100 fields, how to do, what to do, nothing to do, sit and write them, right? That means you cannot find a solution other than these. And these are very proved solutions. That means in database queries, as much as possible, avoid using star. Don't use stars in your queries. Here while practicing you may, but in real queries, when you write in your Java, .NET, Node.js, backend technologies, we should avoid using this. So that is the first thing. Another is, later you will learn in your technologies what you can do. You can implement a concept called lazy loading. So Java, in Node.js also we will learn about that. Asynchronous lazy loading approaches are important. Lazy loading means it will load only when it is required. It will not load until it is not required. That means when it required, it will load. Otherwise, it will not load. This mechanism is called as what? Lazy loading. Actually, we can implement later programming and all we will see. Actually, it is there in general HTML also. Suppose you have learnt about some images or something. Suppose you see this is a HTML page, some HTML page. In this HTML page, we have some paragraphs. Some paragraphs of information is present. Lot of paragraphs information is there. Now actually here lot of paragraphs of information is available, and below these paragraphs I kept one image source. Suppose I have some public images, some kids fashion, some image is present. width is 500, height is 400, some picture is there. Actually, you see, there is an image at the bottom. When I now, if image is at the bottom here, you see the concept here, yeah. In the body, under the paragraphs, there is an image here. Am I right? There is some picture there. Now the question is this picture loaded or not? It is loaded. Why? Why you are loading a picture if you don't know whether user will scroll down or not? Unnecessarily you are loading now. You are loading some videos, you are loading some photos. That's not good. Why you are loading them? Until or unless you don't know whether user will go down or not. That's not good idea. So in HTML itself, you have an option. For image, you can put an attribute called loading lazy. Image have a loading lazy attribute. Eager loading, lazy loading. All images by default load eager. Eager means you just put them, they will load. But we can make them load lazy. Lazy loading means they will load only when they are required. But this is not enough. There is an attribute. We have to use this in logic also. Background we have to write. In Node.js you will learn how to implement lazy loading all. But image have that option, loading as lazy. That means what will happen, do you know, when you define loading lazy? In the body section you can see here image is there. Image is there. It is showing. But actually what happens is it will load and display, means image tag is there, picture will not be rendered. When it will be rendered, when I scroll down, then it will be rendered. Right? If you have observed, when I scroll down, just a blink happened. Right? That blink is nothing but just now it loaded. Because I scrolled here, just now it loaded. Before that, it's not loaded. Element will be there, img will be there, but picture is not rendered. Until or unless I scroll down, it will not render. You can implement without logic with simple loading as lazy. What is advantage of this? It improves the performance of your application. Pictures, videos, they don't load until you go there. Like the tables also we can load lazy. Tables have hundreds of records. We can load lazy. So there are so many techniques to implement. And one of the technique is in database. Server side, you will learn different techniques. In database, one point is don't use star inquiries. So while practicing, you may do that, but actually you better not to use these stars in real. Here, you can use meta characters or you can use the field names. Better always use the field names. So one note is avoid using meta character in query to improve the query for performance. To improve the query performance. So avoid using meta character in query to improve the query performance. Right. So here we have another option is what select can do is here that means example we have select category ID and a category name from TBL categories. So from TBL categories, or we have select star from TBL categories. These are two important query. Right. That HTML related just I explained to you, but already you know in HTML there are so many attributes you will learn for images and all. That's not the concept here. Just I explained that we can implement a technique called as what? Lazy loading. Lazy loading. So another actually to improve the performance in applications, images have a lot of attributes. Generally, few attributes you learned for image. In reality, HTML have a lot of other attributes. Not only, I'm just saying example of images, so many others. You know, image have, I just showed you, image is having loading. It is having like decoding. It is having like importance. It is having attribute like cross origin. These are all different attributes. It have like SRC set. These are all image related attributes. Generally image attributes means usually people learn SRC, height, width, alignment, border. These are little bit advanced and very popularly used in real world for improving the performance of application. We use these different. These are all image related only. So I'm not giving anything about this, just I explained a point, right? So we have select. By using select, we can select the category ID, category name, or you can select all the fields. There is one more option is select. Actually select allows to alias the field name, alias the field name while querying. Select alias allows to alias the field name while querying. It is good to display field name in a user-friendly format. Select allows to alias the field name while querying. So it is good to display field name in user-friendly format. So what is the meaning of this is, the main concept here is whenever you give field names are not user-friendly. User-friendly because you can't use spaces in field names. You need to give the field name continuous or with some underscore separated. But while showing the data, we can clearly explain what we have done with the fields. Actually, this is not a user-friendly name, because here the question is why category ID is not having space, why category name is not having space. So why it is not having? Because in the fields how you mentioned, in the result also it will show same. If you want in a more user friendly, then what you do here, we can use select category name as, we can use the operator as what is it? Suppose I am giving here as product category name. So from TBL, what categories? That means what this command is going to do. So it is going to display like this. It will hide the original field name and it will display custom name. While querying, it will be easy for developer to report in a better way. That means the field belongs to what, are there any rules, restrictions? He can detailedly mention everything. Because sometimes later you will see, if we will learn about views also, one field we bring from one table, another field we can bring from another table. Multiple fields from multiple tables we can bring. Then user, while watching the report, it is very confusion from which table which field is coming. Then we can put custom names. For field names, we can alias, we can give our own names, So then for that, what you have to do, we need to define in this way. So here, suppose if there is multiple, that means what is another one? Category ID. So as I given as, so suppose I given category ID, that is as category ID. So what it is going to do here? So it is going to display as I showed. That means usually it is going to display the same field name. You want, you can alias. How you can alias? By using as. So it requires as operator for aliasing the field names. Syntactically here, select from table name. Select field name as alias name. So select category name as some product category from TBL categories. You can set alias for multiple category, multiple fields. Category ID as category ID, comma, as product category. From TBL categories, you can have multiple. So is it going to change the field name in table? It is not going to change the field name. It is a temporary transformation of field name while showing you. It will not affect the table field permanently. If you want to do that, then you have to do by using update command. Later you will learn update command. By using that, you can change the field name permanently. So that is actually alias. This select will allow expression in a query. In the expression also we can use these options. In the expression we can use these options. Actually select allows expression. For example, see here. So we have a table. So we have only these options. Okay. Let me drop this. So I will add one table here. So let's say create table TBL products, and it is having product ID is a primary key. This is integer primary key. Okay. Name varchar and price is decimal. Temporarily I will use decimal, and some 6 and 2 decimal places. And what else? Quantity. This quantity is integer. So this is the table. Okay, we created a table TBL products, and we are inserting some data into this. Product ID is some 1, name is, and price some price, and quantity I will put the quantity as 2. So okay, 2 is the quantity. I have another mobile and some name, and the quantity is 3. Okay, we have just inserted some records. What is problem? Decimal places have problem. Quantity is taken as out of range. Why? Oh, more characters I given. Fine. Decimal places I given. Fine. I given only 6 there, and including decimals it is more than that. That's why. Fine. I am adding the data now. Okay. Now let's go here. In the select query, what we will do is we can use expression. As I told you, we have select name and price and quantity from TBL products. So what it will do, it is going to display only these 3. Here we can add one more. What is that is comma. We are writing an expression here. In this expression, we will say quantity into price. Quantity into price. And okay, it will calculate quantity into price and store where as a temporary field name as total. That means what aliasing can do, it will create a temporary field by name total, and in that it will put the result of this expression. That means it is not just aliasing your fields, it is aliasing some expression. That means usually what happens here is it is going to create the total and display that. That means there is no total field. It will create one total field. And remember, this is not permanently created in your table. It is just a query. And queries are not permanent, they are temporary. And you see in the columns, is total created? It is not there. It will have only this. This is a new field we created temporarily, and into that we stored the result of an expression, that is quantity into price. That means you can use all your arithmetic operators and you can calculate. Later I will tell you some more functions. By using those functions, you can do concatenation, you can find average, you can find minimum, you can find maximum. Ready-made some functions are there, we can use them and we can implement those functions here. So here, what is the point about aliasing actually? So select query, select allows to embed any expression, allows to embed any expression, comma, evaluate the expression, and store the result in an alias field. Select allows to embed any expression, evaluate the expression, and store the result in an alias field. So, expression can be any arithmetic, or by using any built-in functions. Expression can be any arithmetic or by using any built-in functions. So syntactically, select field expression as alias name from table name. That is how we need to do. Expression we embed using a parenthesis. We embed the expression using parenthesis. Example is like this. So select name, price, quantity, and we need to define the expression quantity into price as total from TBL products. Like this, we are defining from TBL products. You have predefined functions also. Functions later I will tell you. Actually, sometimes functions will be like select. So first name, last name. Here we have concat. Concatenation will be there. Concat what? So we have what? First name. So what else? Last name as what is it? Full name. So full name from TBL product, TBL some employees, something. Later I will show you those operators and all special functions. We can use built-in functions, min, max, average, like that. Several built-in functions are there we can use, or we can write our own various operators. Right. So this is while using select directly for the fields you are using, you can put alias name for the fields detail if you want. What is alias name? QTY as what? Quantity. Am I right? As quantity. You just mention the alias name here as quantity. Then when you execute, then QTY will come as quantity. We are having alias, total, all these we are displaying. This is usually done by using this select query, right? We can have an expression, we can evaluate the value, store the result, and we can use it. But this is not permanent. This is temporary. Suppose if I want to use this permanently, this I want to use permanently, then what to do? In a table, it is not possible. Then permanently, if some technologies will allow, some database technologies allowing such queries, they evaluate and autofill them. So I showed you softwares like MS Access. Such databases they can do. But here what we have to do, we have to later learn creating a view. I told you now from tables, we can generate what? Views. And we can generate a view and save this view so that we can use this view in various other places in the application whenever we want. But this is one important how we can pass the query, how we can define the query. So while working with the select query, first how to select the values from the fields, how to select the values from all fields, how to select the fields with alias names, how to use any expression on the fields, any expression on the fields and use those values. Next important, while working with select, you can filter the data. Select allows to filter the data, allows to filter the data by using where command. allows to filter the data by using where command. So where uses an expression to find the matching data and return as result. Select where uses an expression to find the matching data and return as result. So expression is built by using comparison and logical operators. What are the comparison operators? So comparison operators, what are those? We have equal, greater than, so greater than, equal. So we have less than or equal. So this is not equal. We can use any of these, not equal. These are comparison. Equal, greater than or equal, less than or equal, not equal. What are logical operators? We can use, so we have AND, that is logical AND. Means it is equivalent to double ampersand we use. We have what? OR. So it is like double pipe. You cannot use those symbols here. Just words are important, not logical negation. Not, that is the symbol we have to use. So for negation and binding multiple expressions, we need this. So syntactically, select field from table, table name, where, and we need an expression. We have to put the expression. We have some more operators, we will see them. You can use even meta characters also, and other operators. First, basically here, what is the point is, suppose our data we need to create complex now. Suppose I want to display the product whose price is above 10,000 or above 4,000. Then usually how you write the condition. So actually what this is doing, it is doing all the expression and returning, but I don't want all of them, only whose price is above 4,000. Then what we have to do at the end, we need to add an expression. What is the expression? Where? where price is greater than how much? 4,000. Then it is going to return everything same, but only the price is above 4,000. That means all your query can be same and just you need to add the expression. We need to add the expression. So we need to find this data. Just by using a condition you can do. Suppose I am expecting only where so name is equal to what? That means we need to define the field name is matching with what? Suppose the name is matching with mobile. That means it has to get only which is matching with mobile. So that means it is equal. We have equal, we have greater than, less than. We can use some other meta characters also. So I will show what is the meta characters later. First important is we can use where to query only what you are looking for, and there can be multiple queries. For example, see, means this is an example here, just example. First basic example is select name and price. So from TBL products where price is greater than 10,000, something like this we are using. We can make it little more complex. How? Like this. We can make it more complex. What is that? Select name, price, quantity as quantity, quantity into price as total from table where name is equal to what? Mobile. That means we are implementing all in one query here. So we can write the query in this way. Now, just a simple task is for you. Write query for accessing products, product name and price, where price is between 100, between 10,000 to 30,000. How you will write? Write a query for accessing product name and price from products table where price is between 10,000 and 30,000. How do you write? Generally in JavaScript, you learn conditional operations, right? Comparisons, conditions. And when you write the conditions, the same approach here we have to follow. How do you write the query for this? Write and show me. Product name and price I want, but price must be between 10,000 to 30. For that, you should know JavaScript conditions. For that, you should know JavaScript conditions. In JavaScript, you learned how to write comparisons. That means conditions. The same approach you have to follow here. How you will write between? Here, actually, with with what we learnt up to now. How you'll write between if price is greater than 10,000 and price is less than 30,000, then it is between, right? That means how we write the operation here. Select. So I'm just giving here like select name and what price from TBL products where price is greater than equal to 10,000 and we have to use and what price less than or equal to how much 30,000. That's how we need to define. Understood? That means it will return the products which are between 30,000. You cannot use end symbol here. End is defined by using end keyword. You have to use end keyword. This is not end symbol, right? End operator is not there here. We have to write end and we have to use or. Suppose now, how do you write here? So suppose write query to access all products, all electronic products, suppose electronic products. So with the price above, so or simply like with rating above 4. Actually, in our table, we have product ID, we have name, so we have category, we have price, we have rating, and we have category. Suppose these are the fields you are having. What is the answer now? We want only electronic category products. That means the category name should match with what? Electronics. Electronics. And rating should be above 4. Then how do you write the query? Select star from what is it? TBL products where what is it? Where category is equal to what? Electronics and price is greater than or equal to how much? Rating, rate. Where rating is greater than or equal to how much? 4. That's how we need to define. That means the category is electronics and rating is above 4. We need such data to store. We will store some data like that and we will see how to write the queries. So now another is, suppose write query to access electronics and fashion products. How do you write? The category name must be electronics and the fashion. Only fashion and electronic products must come. Then how do you write? Obviously, these type of things, if you already learned JavaScript, these are general logics. In general JavaScript, what is the logic? Select star from TBL products where category is equal to electronics or. Am I right? Category is equal to fashion. You have to use or operator. These are all JavaScript type logics. This is what you learned in JavaScript, logic conditional operators. Logical operators, how do you use them? We need to implement this. So this is the select, how we can select. In select, several more queries are there. In select, we have more queries that we'll see in next session. Tomorrow we will do that. In tomorrow's session, we will learn all different queries and operators, how to filter the data, search, sort the data. Filtering, searching, sorting the data, all we can do by using what? Select. Then we can learn updating, deleting and all. Okay. Tomorrow we will see more about select, how to handle it. Okay. First you practice this. Right. Yeah. And classroom code still, they are verifying people who are attending this batch. Our admin is verifying. Mostly by tomorrow they will finish. And for them we will share the Google Classroom code. Till that moment, same drive link you have now. There I will upload the notes. Tomorrow you will get the new classroom code. Okay, right? Yeah.